Hello, my biddies. How are you today? I'm fine, I guess. Um, had the boys yesterday like normal. Apparently, everybody's got to get their hairs did before Thanksgiving. So that means extra time with the kids for us, which is fun. Oh, what else is going on? Think they'll do the Epstein files. I have something to show you. I have to show you the cheapest toy you can buy for a little kid, and it's this. It's just a lid, but make sure it has the popper in it. You hear that? They love him. I don't know why. It's weird, but I might separate my segments with that, or at least try. That's what I'm gonna try to do today. See how it goes. See if you can hear it. If I can hear it, then I can split things up a little easier. Okay, I do not have reality roundup. I'm sorry. I have been naughty. I've been naughty. I've been watching skating instead. I will probably have something tomorrow. Maybe all of them. I don't know. I thought I had one, but it's not on here, so I'm guessing it didn't. I didn't watch anything since Monday, because I know we did one Tuesday. Sorry, sorry, sorry. I don't usually watch them on Thursdays because I go grocery shopping in the morning, and so all my groceries are in the car right now because it's a timing thing, and I was 5 minutes late today anyway. Uh, what else? Oh, except for Special Forces, I do have a Special Forces note. Everybody hates Cody. Everybody hates Cody. Like hates him. Not a shocker. Also, different reality show. Uh, Real Housewives of New Jersey. Um, Teresa and Gia Giudice were both on there. Teresa quit like really fast. Not surprised. Actually, I thought she'd last longer because she does do like weightlifting and stuff. So she is in pretty good shape. But Gia's doing really good. I'm proud of her. Proud of that little girl. She's doing good. Hi, Lauren. I hope you're doing well. Um, I did buy enough groceries this morning to do a mini Thanksgiving if we need it on Thursday or Friday. We're going Saturday to our Thanksgiving. It's going to be Saturday. The big deal. I did buy a bunch of stuff to make candy. I've been watching I forgot what it's called. YouTube um lady that wants to be the dominant, what does she say? She wants to have world domination in the fudge market on YouTube. So I'm going to make some fudges and some candy. So that'll be fun. The fudge is really easy. It's basically, yeah, I got stuff for lots of fudge, Lauren. Um, I'm gonna make somebody. I'm gonna make your sister-in-law some lemon fudge. I got all the stuff for that. Butter pecan. I don't have the stuff for butter pecan fudge. I'll have to do that one later, maybe for Christmas. I didn't see a butter pecan one, but that does sound good. I will try that. I got stuff for peanut butter and lemon and coffee. Okay. And maybe I'll do a maple. I do have maple syrup, so maybe I'll do a maple syrup one too. Maple and walnut, which I like. I like maple and walnut. Yeah, the way she does it seems super easy. She does her stuff in the microwave, which I wouldn't do because I don't like. It's too easy to get it overcooked in my microwave. But I can do it on a double broiler, so I'll do it that way. And I forgot the link to the Sad Sad Alpha Man on Tuesday, so I put it on there now, and it's also in the link on the description of this one in case you missed it. I gotta I gotta promote my guy. He doesn't know I'm promoting him. You gotta promote your favorite singers, right, Lauren? She's a Swiftie. She loves Taylor Swift. All right. Anything else interesting going on for anyone? Because I got nothing. Um, I guess we'll go into petty revenge. Taylor needs no promo. Taylor does not need promo. Taylor Taylor's the goat. Oh, good. I'm getting my Christmas gift made. I wonder what that is. Oh, it's a unicorn. I'm kidding. I don't care. Does that mean I can't request anything now? Since my Christmas gift is getting made, I can't request anything. I don't have a lot to request anyway for Christmas gifts. I'm a weird girl. I like tech. I'd really like a camera for Christmas. I think it would be better than the one in the laptop I'm using right now. Alrighty. So this is from Petty Revenge, and it's entitled "Dickish Kid Doesn't Give Up Train Seat, So I Make Him." This does not sound nice. So I, 22 male, had to take the metro to go somewhere today, and it was pretty full, but I noticed there was a teenager, 16-ish male, taking up 5 spaces with his bag, him laying down and playing his music loudly with his phone. I politely asked him to move his bag so I could sit, and he rolled his eyes and smirked. Nah, I don't think so, man. Okay, this is different. This is different. I thought he was going to make him stand up for somebody else, but yeah, no, you can't be rude on a crowded public transport. That's just not acceptable. Not acceptable to take up more than your fair share of seats, which is one. This annoyed me greatly. If it weren't for his tone and the music, it probably wouldn't have escalated harder. But I just grabbed his bag, felt the weight to check for electronics, and then threw it somewhere further along the train. Okay, that's kind of extreme. Of course, he instantly got mad and asked me what the f I was doing, and that I better go get his bag. Then I just told him he could either fight me or go get his bag himself. Unfortunately, I'm 90 kilograms. I don't know how heavy is that? Somebody do the math for me. And I'm pretty strong, and he was some lanky teenager. I don't think he expected that, but after 5 seconds, he went to get his bag. I took the space and invited other people standing to go sit down. He came back to no space and started yelling at us. I reminded him again that the only way I would move were if he could start a fight with me, and then he seemed to consider but ended up storming away eventually. 200 pounds. Okay. So he's about 200 pounds, and this kid was skinny, apparently. I'm getting that I'm kind of a bully in this situation, but man, some people need to learn that the world doesn't cater to them. That's true, but I think you went a little extreme on it, personally. Um, 200 pounds isn't, well, depending on how tall he is, it shouldn't be overweight. But yeah, don't take up more than your fair share of seats. Where did he get this entitlement from? What does his parents do wrong? Thank you, Lauren. Um, Suburban Mess says you got rid of an entitled brat taking up 5 seats on the train. Some heroes don't wear capes. That's all we're going to say about that one. All right. This is from Am I the Jerk? AITJ for refusing to let my dad's new wife redecorate my apartment because she thinks it's too masculine. I, 27 male, recently moved into my own place. It's a small but nice apartment, and I spent months saving up in the decorating it the way I like. I use dark furniture, framed vinyl covers, a couple of movie posters, some plants. I'm proud of it. My dad remarried last year, and his wife is very opinionated. She came over for the first time and immediately started pointing out what needed to change. She said my apartment looks unwelcoming and not like a proper home, and offered to help by picking curtains, new wall colors, even suggested getting rid of my record player because it looks messy. I politely said I like the way it is. She insisted again and told me that if I ever want to find a decent woman, I need to let her redecorate. I told her she was being intrusive and that this is my plate. He got offended, and my dad said I could have been more grateful. And now apparently I'm the jerk for not letting her take over my space. AITJ for setting that boundary. No. If you like it, you like it. She can go kick rocks somewhere. It's unvetting to her. Maybe that's on purpose. Maybe it's uninviting to her on purpose. The top comment is Purple Kiwi. He says, "No, please, NTJ. Depending on your esteem for your dad, respond. One, I'm sorry for her feelings were hurt bad, but she didn't understand my first polite no thanks. So I had to find another way of getting my message across. Two, Dad, I understand her feelings are important to you. I wish mine were as well. And three, Dad, my apartment is my business, not hers, not yours." That last one would do it. No is a complete thank you. Bildo Warrior says, "No, thank you. That's no thank you." Number four, no thank you. That's it. No matter what she says about it, no matter how she phrases it, only respond with no thank you. Otherwise, you're falling into the trap of having to explain your own decisions. People like her don't deserve that, for sure. Yeah. Like, if he likes it, it's not, I don't think I comment on any of my kids' houses ever. It's not nice. It's rude. I don't comment on my messy house either. If it's messy, I know it's messy. You don't know it's messy? I know it's messy. I can see it sometimes. ADHD is weird. Like, you don't see the mess until it's like overwhelming, and then you don't want to clean it up because it's overwhelming. It's really fun. Our next read is from Entitled People. Seatmate on a flight complained that I started eating my special meal before there arrives. Apologies, English is not my native language. On long flights, I pre-order a special meal online because I'm vegetarian. On most flights, the flight attendant brings special meals first and then starts the normal meal service for the rest. On my last flight, a perfect stranger sat next to me and told me I was rude and inconsiderate because I started eating my vegetarian food before their meal arrived. They said that it was a basic rule to wait until everyone in the row got their food, and then I ruined their flight. Their face was red and rolled their eyes several times. I stared at him. This is next level entitlement, right? We're not eating together at the same table in a restaurant. Yeah, no, you don't need to wait for a perfect stranger to get their meal before you start eating. Your meal would be cold by the time their meal showed up. No, no, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. That guy can go kick rocks with the other lady. I don't know why I'm kicking rocks today. Pounding sand. I don't know. No, you do not need to do that. Personally, I hardly ever get to eat, especially when you have kids. You don't get to eat a hot meal anyway. So if the meal's hot, I'm eating it. Sorry. Cruiser for Life says, I will be eating my hot meal while it was hot. If it was my family next to me, they would tell me to eat my meal while it's warm and hot. Yes. And a good family would do that. Chuck it. I don't know. There's a bunch of deleted uh, comments, which is weird. Um, oops. Now that one went away. I don't know where it went. That's so weird. Oh, here it is. Chuck it. Chuckity Bite says, there was a point in time where my food was pretty much always the last to come out when I was with a certain group of friends. Always made sure nobody was waiting for me. Good for you, good dude. You sound like a good guy. All right. The next read is from Mother-in-Laws from Hell, and it's entitled Mother-in-law and father-in-law showed up to the hospital trying to get into the labor and delivery the day I gave birth. Buckle up, y'all, because this is wild. It's not that long. It can't be that wild. Buckle up, y'all, because this is wild. I'm 3 months postpartum and still in disbelief over this entire event. For context, I told my husband before I gave birth several times I did not want my in laws to see the baby until at least a week postpartum to allow me to enjoy my baby in peace, allow my body a little time to recover, and allow some time to get the hanging out breastfeed without fear of father in law sitting across the couch from me while I try to get the baby to latch. I didn't want to be confined to a nursery all day with cluster feeding. We live 10 hours away from both of sets of parents, so it wouldn't be just a quick pop at the hospital. When people visit, it requires we host them in our home. Something I'm not willing to do beyond my parents right after birth because it doesn't feel like hosting. They're very chill, helpful people. I was scheduled for an induction at 41 plus 3. That's 41 weeks plus 3 days. So, um, 42 is 40 is overdue. 40, they don't let you go beyond 42 because that can be dangerous. But baby decided to come spontaneously the day before. I texted my parents as soon as I went into active labor around 1 a.m. because they were coming down to help us for the first few weeks of birth. I mean, she's my mother, for Christ's sake. Husband did not text father in law or mother in law when I went into active labor, but they were aware that I was scheduled for an induction 2 days later. Fast forward to golden hour. I find out that not only are Mill and Phil at the hospital, but they are trying to get into L&D, labor and delivery. Phil called my parents at 8 a.m. that morning, asked if there was any update because he could see my husband's location and that he was at the hospital. Why why are you stalking your kids? They were literally hanging out a few hours away at a friend's place, unknown to me, so they could easily get to the hospital for the birth. My mom was so weirded out by the fact that my father-in-law was tracking his son, also because she knew I didn't want them there. Unfortunately, by the time I gave birth, visiting hours in the postpartum area were over, so they had to leave. Mill proceeded to bombard husband with messages asking when she could see the baby and when we would be discharged. Husband told him we'd let them know. Not even 24 hours later, Phil and Mill told husband that we should try to get discharged ASAP because they were bored and we'd be more comfortable at home. You're not invited there. Mind you, we were in the hospital a few extra days because I had chorioamnionitis. I'm not sure what that is. Chorioamnionitis. Let's find out, I guess. It's an infection because of the amniotic fluid, placenta, and fetal membranes can cause complications. Um, Maternal fever, uterine tenderness, and fetal tachycardia. So it sounds like it could have been both the mom and the baby were affected by that. Um, Anytime you have meconium during the birth, which is the baby's poo, which is baby poo, newborn poo, fetus poo, um, it can cause complications. It can get in the baby's lungs, and apparently it can cause infection in the mom too, which I didn't know. I had their kids. I didn't know that. Okay, so they had to monitor me and the baby's vitals for a few days to ensure we weren't going septic. Complications happen in birth. This is why no one should have a baby that doesn't want to. I could go on and on because the story only gets more and more crazy, but I'm seriously in total disbelief. They showed zero respect for me on the most vulnerable day of my life. Following this, everything they have done just annoyed the ever living crap out of me. I'm trying to move past this, but every time I hear their voices, I get pissed off. I mean, I think this could might be have been avoided by um letting them see the baby while you were in the hospital, and then they can leave and they don't have to stick around. Otherwise, they're just going to be pestering you the whole time. Let them take a glimpse, let them leave. They'll leave you alone after that. All they want is to see the baby. It takes like 2 minutes. They don't have to sit there for hours, even if they want to. They don't have to. Um, I don't know why that's not how some people do it. I mean, I get wanting the baby to yourself for a while, but sometimes you just have to share a little bit, and then they'll leave you alone, and then you can do whatever. Magnificent management final says I would have sent them packing. You're not welcome to visit the baby. You know the rules before you made the 10-hour journey. It's not our fault you came all this way for nothing. Yeah. Blueberry yogurt cup says, why are you moving to move past this? Have they apologized? Have they gotten therapy? Have they shown any remorse? Have they shown any indication that they realize their behavior was bad? Have they stopped tracking your husband and apologized for doing so? Why are they tracking a married man? It's so weird. They have they admitted they did something wrong at all? Yeah, I don't know. They were not right, but sometimes a little bit will get you a long way. Just saying. And a little bit of give will get you a long way. I could make that 10-hour trip for a 1-hour visit and then send them home. And I get wanting to have your mommy. That would have been nice. Our next subreddit is what should I do? I need help. My boyfriend needs help, and it's tagged or flared serious decision. It's there's a trigger warning. I've been dating this guy for something. I've been dating this guy for we are both 25. Okay, right away this is problematic. She's so traumatized she can't even spell. At the start, he was everything close to perfect. After about 2 months, I started noticing things that didn't add up and slightly aggressive behavior. At the time we've been dating, he never wants me to leave and always wants to find a way to sleep over, such as lying that he crashed his car, sending me pictures of the accident that turned out not to be actually real. 2 nights ago, he kept trying to get inside my apartment after I asked him not to come because I needed to think. He drove an hour to my house. He kept trying to force himself inside. I kept saying no. Girl, learn some punctuation, honey. He then demanded I give him his shirt before he left my apartment. I was terrified to open the door, knowing he wouldn't leave, as he'd done many times before. If he's not leaving your apartment, I'm sorry, that is a giant red flag. Giant red flag. When you ask people to leave, they need to leave. But he wasn't leaving without the shirt, so I opened my kitchen window and tried to give him the shirt. Then he took my phone out of my hand, pulled my hair through the window. He bit my head and hid it while trying to drag me by the hair. Okay, why? And you haven't broken up with him? Because why? Oh my goodness. Once he let go, it hurt immediately. I wanted to call for help, but he had my phone. I had to sit inside my college apartment while he was telling me all the things he was going to do and all the secrets I've shared with him, exactly who he is going to tell, including posting on my story, calling my brother, calling my dad, etc. He has threatened me before when I asked him to go home, such as threatening to tell my parents, friends, or work private things. And you didn't break up with him the first time he did this? Why? It feels like emotional manipulation is wearing on me. It feels like emotional manipulation? Gee, I wonder why. I wonder why it would feel like that. I feel like I'm drowning. I love him, but I don't trust him anymore. And to be honest, I'm scared of him. The aggression is an emotional form of screaming and calling me names, blocking me from leaving, sometimes pushing me, etc. These are a few things, but I need advice. I feel so alone. You need to report him for assaulting you and break up with him 3 months ago. Fishman says you need to call the authorities, file a police report, and a restraining order. This guy is not right. Please do this before he causes you serious harm. Yes. If he's starting this already, you could end up not alive if you stay with this guy. Because it escalates. It escalates. It escalates once you move in. It escalates once you're married. It escalates. Oh, geez. Poor girl. I hope she gets out of that. That's crazy. I wonder if there's any updates. No, there's not. Yeah, girls, boys, men, women, don't stay with people like this. If we stop accepting this behavior, the behavior will change. And if it doesn't, they will be ostracized. That's their choice. Next, we have malicious compliance. Daycare wants my office park. Oh, sorry, I'm starting over. Next, we have malicious compliance. Daycare wants my office park. Oh, shoot, I forgot to do that. Malicious compliance. Daycare wants my office park to. What's my off? Daycare. I can't even read. Oh, I think I'm tired. I think I'm a little tired. Those boys wore me out yesterday. I did get the little one to take a nap, which is like a miracle when that happens. He would not sit still. We have a rule. I could pick out a movie, an old movie, We're in the 1940s. We're talking 1940s kids movies. And we picked one out from an Australia Christmas movie um, yesterday called Bush Christmas from 1947. I think it's 47. Um, I was looking at it and yeah, he only ever wants the Jungle pop-up book we have, which is not the Jungle Book, but he knew Jungle when we watched the Jungle Book. That kid is smart, I'm telling you. He is super smart. Anyway, he was flopping around. It was starting to drive me nuts. Wouldn't sit still. Um, oh, and it was called Bush Christmas. That's I was reading the synopsis and it said Nicole Kidman was in it, and I'm like, I don't think so. They redid it in like the 80s. Um, but anyway, we were watching the original one from 1947, and he would not like calm down. And I knew he was tired because he kept rubbing his eyes, and he'd been cranky all morning, wanting mama and stuff. He stood at the. She put him in some pants that were not staying up, and they would fall down. And she asked him, "Do you want to change your pants?" And he told her no. And then as soon as she left, he's standing by the door going, "Change my pants at home." It was so pathetic. He's so pathetic. I finally got him to change his pants, and he was a little happier after that. But he's sitting there, and he would not like settle down. I even gave him a little toy to play with, quiet toy to play with, like a little. It was a ship, but it has wheels, so it can go back and forth. Well, did not help. I finally said, "Okay." He finally got down, and like after I'd warned him like 5 times not to get down, and I picked him up and I put him in my lap, and he went right to sleep. Like that's all I had to do all this time. He's a little pill, I'm telling you. He is going to be their problem child. He's good, but he's a problem child. He's a little sweetheart. Daycare wants my office to park in our reserved spaces while they use ours too. We did. Okay, that's weird. Been waiting for this one. My partner and I own a small 8-person company that shares a building with only a daycare. Our company consists of almost exclusively of higher level professionals, a couple lawyers, CPAs, etc. So most have their own large office, plus a couple of common areas, conference room, and a nice kitchen. All in all, it's about 3,500 square feet, which is obviously a lot for 8 people, but necessary for our line of work. Due to the size of the office, the lease has a parking provision which grants us the exclusive rights to all 24 parking spaces. This is somewhat important to the story. Not our work, we only need 8 plus clients. Also important is the daycare's parking lot is only consisting of about 10 spots in front of the building. The parents would use our lot to drop off. Daycare's lot would be mostly full of their staff's cars, and even some of their staff would park in our lot. We didn't mind at all. We had over a dozen empty spots each day, and it was nice to have the mostly happy children around in the mornings and afternoons. Until a month ago, I started coming in a bit later at the same time as the daycare drop off. Our lot was crazy with parents, kids walking, and parking, so I used their lot like they have done with ours for years. First day, no issue. Second day, the manager saw me get out and gave me a piercing stare. A week or so later, I did it again, and my car was towed. Are you kidding me? Not a warning or a word from the manager or anyone at the daycare to me or our office. I guess all your employees are going to get their cars towed then now, too. I went to the daycare to ask if they knew it was my car, a very distinctive old blue truck, and if some kind of mistake had been made. The manager came out and said it was not a mistake, and in a very rude, demeaning tone, her exact words were along the lines of, "Unfortunately, we can't have the liability of non staff and parents within our lot, and I'm sure the parents won't appreciate having to walk further either or an unknown adult like you in the lot." Who cares? It's a parking lot. She looks up at me and down, and I'm totally normal looking 30-year-old male. I think at least don't you have some reserved spots in the back? You really should park there and let us park here. With an eye roll, she walked off. I was happy I held my tongue in front of the children, considering how effing angry I was, knowing it was not the time for that conversation. A couple of days later, I told the manager while we were outside the office that I wish she would have come to me before towing my car and costing me $600 and asked for an apology, and said since we share the back lot and the parents take up almost all of our spots in the morning and afternoon, I can park in the front lot occasional. morning the timelines align. She flatly said no and basically gave me the same speech she gave last time, at least not commenting on my appearance this time. I left things for a week thinking it was over until again I had nowhere to park one morning, having to wait 10 minutes for parents to filter in and out of our lot lest my car be towed. Who do I see but the manager getting a spot in my lot before even me? I know what I'd do. I decided to comply with the manager's wishes and then developed a plan. I contacted the building owner and said, or more accurately, lied, that due to a compliance reasons with state license we are applying for, we need to have a gate installed with employee guest pass access only in our parking lot. Our company would, of course, cover the cost. Same day approval from landlord installed 2 weeks later. Oh, that's even better. I drove in early that first morning after install. I tell you, the mayhem was well worth it. Watching from the corner window gave me a perfect view of it all. It started with daycare staff pressing all sorts of keys on the gate trying to get in, trying to park where they have for months, years even. Then their lot filled up completely. Parents started arriving. A staff member had to stand at the gate telling parents there was now no access. Their parking lot was basically congested with parents double parking, taking their children in. Other parents parked a quarter of a mile down another lot at the park our office overlooks. I eventually went down to give the manager a nice little wave and walked back up to my office. She gave me a piercing stare that just made me grin ear to ear. She deserved that. That is a lot of money for some petty revenge there. I guess she sent the owner a rather angry email about parking rights to the back lot afterwards and how it's crazy one small office gets the entire thing. Apparently she did not know we had all of it. She he said he and I may have to discuss the parking provision in the future, and he also doesn't did not know the lease gave the entire back lot, but it's also not a big deal to him. Not sure why he let me put the gate in. Regardless, I still have 2 years on my lease with another option to extend another 5. So no plans on moving anytime soon from the office or my 24 parking spots. P.S. It's an office building next to a park and residential homes. I'm in no way endangering the children since they now walk a quarter of a mile of grass and playground to get to the daycare. There's not even a street to cross from that lot. If anything, made the days of the employees and parents better in retrospect. Not sure the employees can park in the playground lot for that long. Edit. Finally figured out how to edit. Newer around these parts. To everyone asking me why I did not tow, 2 reasons. One, most importantly, I was tired and working 12-plus hour days for a few months at that point. That day she parked there was the last or second to last day of that stretch. And then I basically 4 to 6 hours a day for 9 months. He must do taxes. This sounds like a tax guy. Towing a car was the last thing on my mind. Getting into the office and finishing my work was my only goal. When my partner suggested it when I recounted the story. $600 can be a lot of money for some. I grew up fairly poor, and I know how devastating a towed car can be to a family struggling month to month. Another day I might have done it. I'm glad I didn't. Cramerica says, it's absolutely flabbergasting that people would rather treat a stranger like a complete piece of crap rather than just talk to them in a normal, non-aggressive, non-confrontational way. It literally costs nothing to just, at minimum, have 1 to 2 conversations and feel people out before you make a decision on how future interactions should be handled. People like that deserve every single inconvenience possible. I'm so glad he put up that fence. Like, way to make a point. Way to drive the point home. Like, I have been nice to you all these years and you tow my car. How dare you? That's crazy. That's not even a petty revenge. That's a malicious compliance. They need to cross post it. All right. This one was removed by Reddit filters, and I know that um I checked beforehand because I noticed it was not there. Um I checked and this person's been banned, but the original title was AITA for refusing to let my mom, who told me her husband isn't my dad. For refusing to tell my mom, who told me her husband isn't my dad. But she got banned for some reason. So we'll go on to the next one. AI. This is from AITAH, AITAH, for telling my best friend's dad he's the reason my friend committed suicide. Yikes. My late best friend committed suicide back in May of 2021. He was genuinely the smartest guy I've ever known. He was an engineer and he'd come up with a solution to literally any problem you'd ever face, both practical and even emotional life stuff. He was the sweetest, most compassionate person ever. I still cry about him 4 years later. He had a horrible childhood. His dad and uncles were farmers. He grew up in the fields. Back when he was 7 to 10, his oldest uncle would always take him out to teach him the ways, but in reality, he would sexually assault him. He'd take him to his other friends and they'd abuse him as well. He said they call him fresh young meat once. That poor guy. No wonder. Eventually, he worked up the courage to tell his parents at 20. His mother immediately believed him and took his side, but his father still to this day denies it. Says his brother, who is long dead by now, would have never done such a thing. They eventually had to divorce because of it. My friend took himself at just 24 years old in his bedroom. His poor 15-year-old sister was the one who found him. She's still heavily traumatized to this day. We've stayed in contact, and she's like my own little sister, and I'm helping her with college. She's living with me rent free since I live just 10 minutes away from the college. What a good friend. What a good friend. At his funeral, his parents had a full on fight inside the church. His mom physically attacked and started beating his dad, and she had to be held back by multiple people. Dad just stood there and took it. He didn't even try to protect himself because he knows he's bad. He knows he's a bad person. His dad is now remarried and he's trying to reconnect with his daughter, and she refuses to. Last night, he came over unannounced to my apartment and demanded to see her. I told him she hated him and didn't want anything to do with him, and she wished he'd die instead. He yelled at me, saying that I'm grooming and preying on a grieving young girl. No, he's not. I called him disgusting for thinking that I'd ever do that to someone who's like my little sister. I said it's his fault my friend isn't with us anymore. It's also his fault nobody talks to him and why his family is broken. He started crying and begged his daughter for forgiveness, saying he already lost his son and doesn't want to lose her forever too. She told him to go to hell and kicked him out. Oh, now you're sorry. Now you're upset. Now you're upset now that he's gone. She cried after he's left, and I comforted her and got her something to eat. I've been thinking about it ever since, and honestly, some part of me feels bad for him. Like he didn't lose a son and his whole family, but like he was a major part of it. I know how much denying what happened hurt my friend. He cried to me a lot about it. He loved his dad a lot and always looked up to him. Did I go too far on him yesterday? Edit for more context. His sister's now 19 and staying with me for both for college and because her mom unfortunately died a while ago. So that poor girl has lost her mom and her brother and has her crappy dad. Oh, that's so sad. Red Cortana said he failed to protect his son for years. His son eventually told him and denied it, and he denied it. And to this day, he has not taken honest accountability. He deserves worse. Yeah, I agree with that. Don't take a predator's word over your own kid. Don't. Your kid's probably not lying to you at all. They don't want to have to tell you that. And why does it look like a breeze is coming in my window right now? That's not good. That is not good. I will have to take care of that. You see this back here? Oops, sorry, this side. See this back here? The shade is blowing around. Oh, you know what? There's a register under it. I bet that's the heat coming up. I thought I had a ghost. No, I didn't think I had a ghost. More parking problems. This is from Neighbors from Hell, entitled Parking on My Property. I had the most insane conversation of my life yesterday, and the brazenness is so bloody funny I had to share it with y'all. For context, my wife and I purchased a house with some bigger corner property in a German village from an 87-year-old this year, January. The close neighbors are super friendly, we get along very well, have barbecues, and so on. In the past, I already had some issues with several people parking on my lawn. Insert get off my lawn meme here. I mean, all four wheels on the grass, parallel parking, but a quick tow fixed that for good. Quick side note, I tried to talk with the folks living a street down the road before I called the tow truck, and they told me to suck a big rooster as they have a party, and I should live with their guests parking on my lawn. The audacity of people. The audacity of people. Like, if I'm having a party and I want to park on my lawn, that's fine. I would never have people park on my neighbor's yard. That's craziness. So, the backstory. I was working from home and my doorbell rang, and in front was Karen. She looked me up and down and asked, quite condescending tone, whose car is in the driveway blocking it. I told her it's mine and what the matter was. She introduced herself, same folks from above, and demanded that I move my car because she wants to park in my driveway as she doesn't find a good spot on the road. Does this lady know where the audacity sale is? Because she got some. I asked why she thinks she can park in my driveway. She explained that the previous owner hadn't had a car and never noticed that she parked there. And because she always did that, I should make space or she'll call the cops. Oh, please. Please do. Call the cops. That'll be great. I told her to pound sand and close the door in her face. She actually called the cops, but it was resolved quite easily, and we had her removed from her property. The audacity of these folks is just astonishing. She called the cops. Oh my God. That's crazy. Or his little one would say, Twazy, because he can't, he says T, C, a hard C is a T, and he can't say his R's yet, so it comes out as Twazy. It's so cute. That is Twazy. I can't believe that. No procedure says my smartass brain went straight to, quote, that last owner is dead. He died when the ambulance couldn't get up the driveway because somebody was parked in it. Oh, jeez. The OP says, I can assure you he's doing fine, just in a retirement home due to dementia. Oh, poor guy. No procedure answers yes, but does entitled bitch crossed out lady know that? Oh, never really sometimes says off topic is kind of the opposite of doing fine. I wouldn't wish that on Karen. And Doll Ringer said, I would. Oh, where does that lady get off thinking she has entitled to somebody else's property? That's crazy. Things change sometimes, Gotta roll with the punches. Our next read is from Benign Existence, and it says, my kids riffing with me via label maker. We borrowed a label maker from a friend, and for whatever reason, it's been endlessly entertaining to my kids. I asked if they were going to make me a label that says old fart for my birthday. They protested I'm not old, so no. Then a bit later, they came back with a label that said relatively young fart. Oh, that sounds like they're having fun. That's good. That's good. Good family fun. Oh, no. No. All right. I guess we got to go. I didn't notice this one was not there. So it was a just no mother-in-law. Um, the mother-in-law threw out all the spices because they looked expired. Not your place. Not your place. Okay. That one. See if this one will work. All right, this one will work. Aren't you glad you walked Cheese Live? You can find all the craziness that I get into. I still can't believe these all have 10s instead of 11s on them. Okay. This is from Just No Mother-in-Law, and it's entitled My Mill Wants to Take Over My Life. And it's flared, Am I Overreacting? Hi, everyone. I'm a new mom to an 8-month-old boy. I live with my partner in a small house just a few yards away from his parents' home. Yeah, that's too close. My sister, her husband, and their child live in another house on the same property. On paper, it looks like one big, close, happy family. In reality, it's overcrowded, invasive, and exhausting. I never get a moment of peace. Although I would love a property where all my kids lived, but I would try not to be over involved. My pregnancy was rough, emotionally and physically. I had an emergency C-section, my hormones crashed, and I went through postpartum depression. Instead of understanding, my mother-in-law kept saying I needed psychiatric help so I could finally become part of the family. She's already part of the family, is she not? She constantly reminded me that she had 4 kids and worked in a kindergarten, so she knows better. When my baby was just a few weeks old, she and Phil barged into our home telling me I wasn't doing anything right, that the baby was pale, that I didn't cook or clean enough, that I wasn't fit to be a mother. Father-in-law asked me why I even got pregnant. And said my postpartum depression was BS. I'm just mean and selfish. When that happened, my partner sat there quietly and didn't defend me. After they left, instead of comforting me, he said I've lost myself and that I ruined him and his family. Oh my goodness. Now my mill rarely speaks to me directly, but she constantly pressures my partner behind my back. She calls him after work and complains that she never sees her grandson. Gee, I wonder why. You don't deserve to. Tells him I don't go outside with the baby. Keeps suggesting that she should take care of him instead of us sending him to daycare. My partner then brings all that pressure home and repeats her words to me like a messenger. I feel like I'm fighting his entire family, not just him. Because you are. You have a husband problem, sweetie. The latest argument is about daycare. I want our son to go to daycare when my maternity leave ends. It would be good for him to socialize and would give me space to start working again. My partner says daycare is too expensive, even though he makes good money and spends hundreds of dollars on his car, tires, and repairs. He insists that his mother can babysit for free, which to me is unthinkable after everything she's done and said. No, you do not want this mother-in-law to watch your kids. You do not. He will she will do things she will say things disparaging to you about you to him. When I told him I don't want her taking care of our child, he accused me of doing it out of spite because I hate his family. Well, why wouldn't she? They're not nice people. And she said he is done with me and his parents when he is angry and one day will snap and kill us all. Okay, you need to leave. You need to get out now. That is giant red flag. If he's even said that, it's a giant red flag. Giant red flag. Oh my goodness. That's insanity. Everyone around Mill says that's just how she is. My partner says the same and that she means well, and I should stop taking everything so personally. But excuse, but that excuse doesn't make it any easier. It just means she can't keep saying what and doing what she wants while I'm expected to stay quiet and get over it. Meanwhile, I have my own house 2 hours away. Small, old, but mine. He and his parents mock it, saying it's dirty, unfit for a baby, and that I couldn't possibly live there alone. My mother-in-law even bragged that she asked around about the house to see what it looks like, but at least there I could breathe. Here I feel trapped, watched, and judged every single day. They accuse me of being lazy, even though my partner does most of the cleaning because, as he says, only he knows how it should be done. He tells me I'm ungrateful because he cooks and cleans, but when I try to help, he criticizes how I do it. Now I barely try anymore. Whatever I do, it's never enough. Emotionally, we're done. We live like roommates, no affection, no trust, no connection. He says I'm selfish and that I've destroyed his family. But all I ever wanted was peace and space to raise my child without being controlled or insulted. On Monday, I'm calling the domestic violence helpline and social services. I just can't live like this anymore. Surrounded by manipulation, guilt, and people who think they own my life. You have your own house, leave. Leave and go live in your nice little house. Leave and Electrical Day says call the hotline now. Twitch Hazel says, I'm very concerned about your partner's threat of snapping and killing you all. I think you should seriously look into a way out in case things start to escalate. Be safe. No, don't look for a way out in case things escalate. Look for a way out because things are going to escalate. There's no way this is going to go back to anything that's normal after the way they've treated her. That's insanity. That's insanity. Oh, the original one that we were going to read was mother-in-law threw out all my spices because they looked expired while we were at the hospital. So that's nice. This is from Retail Hell. It's entitled, "It's Time to Bring Back Public Shaming." I scolded a customer today, just straight up scolded her as if she were a child. I even called her disgusting. She was shocked and slunk off, totally embarrassed as other customers stared, and I don't care. Let her report me. I dare her to. She'll have to explain to the management that she was scolded for sticking her fingers into a box of fried chicken to check the temperature. A box she grabbed from the hot case, the case that has a sign that says, "Caution, food is hot." Seriously, with GTFO with your nonsense, whiny ass response, but I wanted to make sure it was hot. And of course, she planned on sticking her fingers into that chicken, pulling it back out, and then grabbing a fresh one, leaving the contaminated one behind for some poor soul to eat. Because that's what I caught her doing. I watched her. She had already poked the chicken, and as I was rushing over, calling out, "Excuse me," she had put the box back and was reaching for another one. Not today, Satan. I snatched the new box out of her hand and went off on her. Then I took the new one she contaminated, and I told the one she contaminated. I told her she was going to buy it, or she was going to get out of my store and never come back. She chose to slink out of sight and leave entirely. Her eyes were as wide as dinner plates. The look on my manager's face when I told him was one of pure disgust. He wasn't even mad at me. He went to check the cameras and saw her literally run out the door after I confronted her. Good riddance. Good manager. Green flags for the manager, because that manager, yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. That's how you should act, managers. You don't get upset when people do disgusting things and then you don't back your employees up. Surf Guitar Geek says that's how many of us wish we could handle that type of situation. Most places have the time they were made right on the packaging. Yeah, you don't need to touch stuff like that. That's gross. Stop doing that. Beeman now says this happened all the time at Walmart. Open a cap to taste it, put it back, and grab a sealed one. Stupidity reigns supreme. I am Stacy Lynn says, my mom was that person. She would taste one and then insist on buying one that wasn't contaminated. As a kid, it was embarrassing. After I got older, I refused to grocery shop with her. Oh, people. At least she grew up knowing that that was wrong. Oh, this is infuriating. Oh, this is interesting. This plaza is restricted from First Amendment activity. How can any member of law enforcement be this effing stupid? Okay, it's a TikTok video. Think we can go ahead and do this? All right. It looks like it's a Palestinian protest.
It's gonna go down.
Okay. Why?
Place you under arrest.
For what?
Bring the flag down.
This is a First Amendment right. It's a right to protest. It's protected under First Amendment right. Did you know that?
Right. If you arrest them, you're going to make a whole
organizer.
Go around that way. Over there. They're over there. Yeah, you move. You move.
All right. Bring the flag all the way down. Okay. All the way down. If it
If
goes up
you
again,
get arrested, it's a First Amendment right.
Yeah. This plaza
It's a First
is
Amendment
restricted
right.
from First Amendment activity.
No.
All of Capitol Hill.
No, that doesn't happen.
That's
That's
not
not a thing.
true.
That's not the Constitution, bro.
Badge number,
Not
sir.
the Constitution.
Whatever. Let's have a conversation.
It's not the Constitution.
What?
Because I have it on video. Can you follow me?
The flag is up the main street. Right.
I just have to get his name and badge number, and then I'm good to go. What's your name and badge number, sir?
My name is Sergeant Giannotti. Badge number is 4567. This is done. I can show you guys all the laws.
4567.
I have no problem with
that. Why does that sound like a lie? Yeah, that's not true. That's not true. All of Capitol Hill's a no free speech zone. That's crazy. That's where you go to free speech, people. Molly O'Shea says, my name is, looks at nameplate. It's so dumb. Badge number's 4567. See, I told you I'm not the only one that thinks that's a lie. Getty's 3 says he's the second officer. The first officer's number is 01234. Schrodinger's hat says, hey, that's the same number of his luggage, same combination of his luggage. What are the chances? Armageddon Knight says, law enforcement is clearly complicit in the Republican destruction of our rights. Just remember when this crap hits the fan, that your local police are not on your side. Some of them probably are, but most of them may not be. Yep, it depends on where you're at, really. Drew Shue says Obama expanded the Bush-era free speech zone concept and applied to federal grounds with the Federal Restricted Buildings and Grounds Improvement Act of 2011. Yeah, that's not true. It defines restricted buildings or grounds as a posted, cordoned off, or otherwise restricted area. The White House or its grounds, but not in front of the White House, or the Vice President's official residence or its grounds. A building or grounds for the President or any other person protected by Secret Service is or willing or will be temporarily visiting. A building or ground so restricted due to a special event of national significance. So none of that was true. That just means you're illegally answering, not that you can't protest. Yeah, it's weird. What are the police doing up there? Was that Capitol Police? Are they that dumb? Because they should know better. They should be on the right side right now. All right, this is from Am I the Devil? And they've entitled it, Left His Date to Hit on Other Women. I'd say that could be a devilish thing to do. Originally from Relationship Advice. How do I, 24 male, make it up to my neighbor, 23 female, for leaving her during a date? You don't. You don't. I fully acknowledge that my behavior was wrong, but to be honest, I was incredibly drunk. That's no excuse. I recently moved into this new apartment complex, and they have a small dog park for residents. I take my dog there fairly often. That's where I met my neighbor, Carla. Whenever I saw her at the dog park, she made it clear she was interested in me, so I asked her out and got her number. Sounds good so far. How'd you screw it up, dude? Fast forward to the date. I had planned on going to a bar and got way too drunk beforehand. Initially, things seemed to be going well. She even joked that she didn't expect to see drunk me so soon, and we made plans to meal prep together the next day. Don't get drunk before a date. Don't get drunk on a date. You can get drunk after a date. This is where I messed up. I saw this girl, Naya, who was stunning, and I got up to flirt with her. I got her number and lost track of time. When I returned to the table, Naya was already texting me back, and I was distracted by my phone. Carla was understandably upset, and I realized I was being rude. So being drunk, I apologized and told her I didn't think things would work out and that we wouldn't be able to meal prep because I had just made plans with Naya, and I didn't feel a connection with her. She accepted it and asked for the check, insisting on paying her share, and left. She didn't give me a ride home, which I understood, even though we live in the same complex. She drove. Why would she give you a ride home when you just dumped her? You just dumped her on your first date. I had taken an Uber there and gotten there early because I knew I was going to drink. Dude, get some help for your um alcoholism. I feel terrible because even though it was just our first date, we weren't exclusive. I was still rude to hit on another woman during the date. No, that was not rude. That was unacceptable behavior. I was drunk and Naya was just incredibly beautiful. As much as it sucks, everything happens for a reason, and Naya and I are now in a serious relationship and things are going great. The only downside is that Naya is scared of dogs, but she's slowly getting used to mine. Oh my god. I hope this is not real. Now the issue is that Carla is completely cold whenever I see her. Gee, wonder why, dude. She blocked me, which I understand. Truthfully, it would probably be disrespectful to Naya to text Carla and try to be friends. Naya is fine with my woman friends as long as it's 100% platonic and I haven't dated them before. But I would like to get to a point where Carla and I can joke around and have our funny banter when we see each other at the dog park. Any advice on how to achieve that would be great. No, 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 just no. Let her leave her life. Go away. You're a pest. Go away. Toxic Light says, "Dude's a POS. Carla's not ever going to be friends with him or even friendly toward him, and nor should she be." Sad Buck says, "I agree. He is so entitled and selfish to think that for some reason she owes him that. Like she has to still be nice to him because he exits, but he doesn't owe her basic common courtesy." Somebody answered that. Carla dodged a bullet. Carla dodged a missile. Carla dodged a nuclear missile. 100% the real victim here is Naya. Yeah, poor Naya. Who gets drunk before the date even started? Like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you that you can't not drink? Next, we have AITA relationships, which we don't have a lot of because it's not very popular, at least not yet. AITA, I could potentially make my sister homeless. A year after cutting off my family, my name showed up on a recorded deed of trust. Edit, I'm reposting here since it got taken down, blah, blah, blah. Last year, I cut my parents off and thought that was the end. They tried to force me to co-sign a mortgage for my younger sister. Called me selfish when I refused, and I found a credit card open in my name at their address. I froze my credit, shut everything down, and moved out of state and told myself, done, no more access. Was I wrong? I was wrong. Oh, I was wrong. She was wrong. This week, a letter from the county recorder shows up about my newly recorded deed of trust with my updated address. I pull the record, my full name, legal name as co-borrower, a signature that's supposed to be mine, and a hometown notary stamp. Hello, girl. Deer outside. I thought it looked like it was snowing too. But she'll lose her house if your roof depends on a forged co-borrower. You never had a house. You had a countdown. This week, a letter from the county recorder shows up about a newly recorded deed of trust with my updated address. I pull the record. Why did this repeat? I did not apply for this loan. I did not sign for this loan. I was not even in the same state the day they claimed I sat with a notary. I called the lender's fraud department and asked for the e-sign audit trail, the IP used for my signature and my parents' Wi-Fi. I emailed the notary. She replied in writing that she saw me over FaceTime and matched my ID from a photo my mom provided. That is not legal. I didn't do my job and now I'm part of a crime. That person should be fired. Here's what I have. The deed listed me as co-borrower, the fake signature, the stamp, the lender's e-sign audit with their IP records, placing me out of state, last year's police report from the secret credit card. So I acted. Filed a police report for identity theft and forgery with exhibits. Filed a state notary complaint with her written admission. Filed an FTC identity theft affidavit. Sent a fraud packet to the lender demanding removal of my name and treating the acknowledgement as defective. Extended my 7-year fraud alert. Refroze all bureaus. Locked my USPS address and opened a P.O. box. Retained a lawyer. Sent my parents a written cease and desist, stay out of my finances. All contact is email only. I'm not giving them time to fix it quietly. I'm not offering a refinance window. I'm not protecting them so my sister doesn't have to move. If this loan collapses, it's because they built it on my stolen identity, and that's on them. But she'll lose her house. If your roof depends on a forged co-borrower, you never had a house. You had a countdown. This is absolutely ridiculous, and I feel like I'm out of my mind. I thought this was all behind me. I guess not. I've s- I've I have some amazing help over the years trying to piece my life back together, but things are so crappy right now. I don't care if she ends up homeless. F them. So I'm so done. The audacity of these parents and the sister. This is financial fraud, financial abuse, which is a thing. These people need to go to jail. Jail for all of them. This was only 22 days ago. I wonder if there's an update yet. Somebody did ask her for updates. No update on that. No update yet, but dang. That's terrible. Don't do this to people. It's not right. If you can't afford your own house, you can't afford a house. Go rent somewhere else. If the sister loses her house, she can go live with the parents. Where was she living before? She can go back there. Okay, server life. And this is question mark. He says, I saw this on TikTok. I'm so glad my restaurant is Togo only. And there's 2 pictures. It says DoorDashers do not stand in front of our counter while you wait. This is disrupting our actual paying customers and it's just rude. And it's from Papa John's apparently. Yeah. DoorDash, no bag, no dash. Have an order number or name ready. Do not shove the phone in our face. You need to speak to us. Use English words at this location. Our orders take 10 to 15 minutes to make. Longer if we're extremely busy. Have a seat. Be patient. Call your order when it's ready. We do not operate on your time frame, and you are not obligated to take any of our orders. We reserve the right to refuse orders to DoorDash drivers due to behavior, lack of following directions, appearances, and fake DoorDash accounts. If you feel these rules are ridiculous and you can do a better job, we are hiring. And it gives them the URL to go to Papa John's website and apply for a job. You can still deliver, just being delivered pizza instead. Honestly, I don't see if a place is delivering, I don't see why you would go to DoorDash to get it. Of course, it's Papa John's. My GM hated DoorDashers drivers worse than our own. Yeah, Spaceman's Piff says, don't know, it seems they hated your own more since they are contracting out work to a third party. And Paul Reputable says, replies again. Customers can order through DoorDash as well. I worked there for 3 years and quit last August. We only press the DoorDash button when we are understaffed or overwhelmed. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, it is time for expectation versus reality. So, Halloween treat looks like a bad trick. That's what it's entitled. This looks crazy. This is a crazy Halloween treat bladder here. That clown is scaring me, not gonna lie. That clown is terrifying. And that clown is more terrifying. Oh god, it's so bad. Oh, Why would you do that? What is this supposed to be? What are they? They're like ears. Why are they like that? It might be okay with a few changes, but holy cow. Oh, people be crazy. All right. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. I go by live at least 4 times a week, usually Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and about 12 noon Eastern time. 12 noon, not 12 midnight, 12 noon Eastern time. If you have a story of your own come across a good one in the wild, please send it to us. And it's that day. Please send us an email entitled submission. If you would like an email link to the current day's live, I'll send them out as soon as I set it up. And you can entitle that subscribe. The email is biddybrunchbunch@gmail.com. It's all one word. And the address is also in the description. And there's a nice song down there for you, too. All right, Zillow Gone Wild. This quaint $750,000 home for sale in North Carolina. Yes, these are the listings in the photo. Are we ready? It looks nice. I mean, it looks nice. It's not bad. Oh my goodness. Don't put people in your your listings photos. Like apparently you're gonna buy it from the mob there. Christmas. I mean, I guess if you did it at Christmas, that's still Christmas themed. Raggedy Ann and Raggedy Andy are Christmas themed stuff. That's not bad. I like that. I would love to have two ovens. That would be fun. Nothing wrong with that photo. That looks nice. Wait, did the last one have the three? So they changed it for Christmas, or is this a different? No, that's the same room. They're just going through their photos and taking pictures and posting pictures of already done stuff. Someone's a musician. I mean, you're giving people ideas of what to do on the screened-in porch. Why not? And Grandpa taking a dive. That's probably why they have to sell the house. Oh, that's insanity. That's crazy. Why would you do that? Oh, that brings me to when we were looking for the house we live in now. Um, we looked all over for all kinds of houses. It took us forever to find a house. And really it took us a year to find a house because every time it was there was not a lot on the market because nobody was moving at the time because they couldn't get what they paid for their house out of their house, which we didn't either. Well, we did, but we didn't. Um, it's one house we went to. We're looking at the house. I opened the basement door, and at the bottom of it is a Santa, but it has like a Halloween mask on. I don't think they wanted to sell the house. I think they were losing the house because that would put people off. Literally was like one of those big giant plastic, almost life-size Santas, and a Halloween mask on it. So when you and situated so when you open the bathroom or the door to the basement and look down, that's what you see. It was great. I loved it so much. It was so fun. Sorry, I had to share that. I slammed the door and I'm like, I kind of screamed and slammed the door, and they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "No, I can't describe it. You gotta open the door and look for yourself." Oh, I think that might have been one of the days we didn't have the kids with us. because the kids went with us a lot to look at houses because we couldn't get babysitters that much of the time. It was like every weekend for a while. It's crazy. Yeah, some teen or Lauren says it sounds like some teen who didn't want to move. Like either that or the owners didn't want to move. Because I don't think you'd get away with that if in our house if I knew anything, or you wouldn't get about it. It only happened once. All right, am I overreacting? AIO Facebook CEO texted me. That's kind of mildly interesting. I'll show the texts here. Hello, you. How are you doing this morning? I'm good. That's great. I've been trying to reach you for a while now. Who are you? And it's Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah, right. I'm sure I don't need further introductions. Mr. Mark, I am humbled. Yeah, I asked a couple of my staffs to reach. This is not real, honey. This is not real. Asked a couple of staffs to reach out regarding your winnings from Facebook compensation program. Yeah, no, this is a scam. Love you too, Lauren. Have a good day. This is a scam. Um, Sorry for the late information. This promotional lottery is being held once every 3 years and is aimed at saying a very thank you to all Facebook users, making Facebook their number one means of communicating with friends and family. Okay. Okay. A professional CEO would not be putting okay like that in a. I'm sure you'd be happy to know you are the sole owner of $25 million and a Chevrolet Silverado. All right. Sure you are, honey. Sure you are. Oh my goodness. See the screenshots and see how lucky I am. I won a lottery and a car. Who wants to share? How do innocent people fall for the scam? He asked me to pay $500 to claim the debit card, which $25 million is loaded onto. I don't even know you could do that. Excuse me. Imagine those people who fell for this. He sent me an FBI certificate of proof that they are aware about this lottery, and he sent images of people holding the debit card in their hands. Sweet SWC answered, and a Chevrolet cop and the Chevrolet Silverado. And my name is answered. Here's $25 million and a $50,000 truck, and also a 2-liter of bottle of Diet Coke. Humorism says, but that won't fit in the cup holders. Now we got to buy a cup to pour the Coke into. I knew this was too good to be true. Oh, I had some guy call me up once, and I usually don't answer the phone. I haven't gotten a phone call in ages that wasn't from my family. I usually don't answer the phone to unknown callers, but I was waiting for a contractor to call me back. So I answered the phone, and this guy says something like, you've won a government contract, not a contract. Shoot, I can't remember what he said. Anyway, something from the government, money from the government. What is the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Oh, it just flew out of my head. I'm old. Getting old sucks, kids. Just letting you know. Getting old sucks. Anyway, so I'm like, oh, really? Because I didn't apply for anything. I know I didn't apply for anything. It was like something you would have had to apply for. And he says, yeah, you could hear like the excitement in his voice. He goes, yeah. And I said, no, I don't, you liar. He literally laughed before he hung up. So if they ever call you for something like this, just tell them, no, I didn't. Oh, and I do know people who have fallen for scams. You guys, let's be smarter about our finances, shall we? That would be really good. All right. This is from Traumatize Them Back. Neighbor wouldn't shut up about how many rooms our house has. And it's Flared Petty Revenge. A few months back, my husband and I moved to a new house. It was right in the right part of town, good price, good school, district. Okay, I'll start over because why not? Neighbor wouldn't. This is from Traumatize Them Back. This is from Traumatize Them Back. Neighbor wouldn't shut up about how many rooms our house has. And it's Flared Petty Revenge. A few years back, my husband and I moved to a new house. It was in the right part of town. Good price, good school district, good yard, good bones. The only real issue was with it, besides needing new paint, was that it was bigger than what we were looking for. But at that point, in our search, we had already put in offers on 6 or 7 other houses, so we were past being picky. We were looking at starting a family pretty eminently, so it's not like having 5 bedrooms when we only wanted 3 was going to kill us. So we moved into our too big house. Got pregnant a few months later. Lost the baby a couple months after that. Oh, that's heartbreaking. I'm so sorry, LP. So sorry. That was pretty devastating, physically, emotionally. So we chose to wait a bit before trying again. Completely understandable. It seems like people either wait a bit, consciously wait a bit before trying again to like get over it, or they try and get pregnant right away again. And it's the ones that try to get pregnant right away again and then something happens and they can't get pregnant right away that are really the heartbroken ones, it seems like. It's sometimes good to take a break. Sometimes it's not for you, and that's okay. That summer, we went to a meet your neighbors kind of event hosted just down the road. We brought cookies, put some faces to names, and we were generally socializing when a couple came up to me and my husband and asked, "Oh, are you the ones that moved into our address?" I responded that we were, and then they said something along the lines of, "Well, that house is too big for you. Where are all your kids? We need more kids around here. We probably would have bought that house if it was on the market when we were looking. We really could have used the extra space. We have 3 boys and they bounce off the walls." Well, that's your fault for not buying a house that's set up for your needs. I chose to say something like, "Oh, we just haven't gotten to that point yet," and politely changed the subject to their kids. No big deal. Later, as my husband and I were grabbing our empty cookie tray and leaving, the couple shouted across the gathering to us, again to remind us that our house was really too big for only 2 people. Why would you do that? It's weird. People are so weird. I can't remember exactly what the wife said, but it runs along the lines of, "It's actually selfish to keep all that square footage empty without any kids. A family with no kids could have moved in there." Like somehow she was personally injured by me not moving in without children. So I walked a bit closer, not to be shouting, but still plenty of people got to overhear me say, "Well, we were going to wait a bit after my miscarriage, since I can't quite forget how it felt during bleeding out in my bathtub. But since you say so, I guess my husband and I need to get home and get busy." She froze. Her husband mumbled something about, "Well, that wasn't necessary." And your comment was, "Dude." And a lot of people seemed really interested in whatever they happened to be eating or drinking at the moment. I was pretty embarrassed, cried all on the walk home, but the neighbor has never once spoken to me again, so I think it was worth it. We did end up having a baby. Well, congratulations. That's good. Nice rainbow baby. Sir Grimy says, "Oh no, it was necessary, to be honest." Dowager Queen Beagle says, "The absolute nerve of the husband to comment that after what his wife said." Yeah, no kidding. Where do you get off, dude? I gotta find some butter pecan fudge recipe. Remind me. Remind me to get a butter pecan fudge recipe for my daughter. I still have time. Thanksgiving's not till next week. This is from Confession, and it's entitled, "I wear a burqa nakib as a disguise on the regular." I think I'm pronouncing that right. As the title reads, I'm a 19-year-old non-religious woman who just really dislikes being around other people. I also have a lot of friends, colleagues who live in the same area as me that I often see at bus stops, etc. To avoid being recognized by people, I usually wear a niqab, face and body covering veil, whenever I go out to run errands. I usually wait until no one is at the same street as my house before I leave. as it would seem weird that random woman in a key would regularly leave or go to my home. Although I do get stares since I live in a non-Muslim country. It is still very common for women to wear hijabs in my city, so you do see a woman in full coverage veil sometimes. Even though I get stares, I feel much more comfortable knowing that no one can actually see or recognize me. And they live in Sweden. Super Hex said wearing a mask and sunglasses in public was the only thing I liked about COVID. I mean, I get it. Um, as someone whose father was very well recognized and well known and couldn't go Christmas shopping at the mall without generating a line 15 people long to to get through, people waiting to talk to him. He wasn't famous, he wasn't a politician or anything like that. He was just a guy that fixed their cars. Yeah, we'd sit there for like an hour, hour and a half. My best friend and I. We had other friends that their house backed up to the mall, so sometimes we just took off and went over there. If their parents allowed it. Their parents were mean. All right, this is from Am I the A-hole? AITA for letting my children order full meals instead of kids. No. We went to the restaurant for my mother-in-law's birthday lunch. When orders were taken, Sil asked that all the kids would be having kids' meals, tenders and fries with juice. My 9 and 4-year-old eat adult meals. 2 chicken tenders and a handful of fries will not fill them up. When the waiter got to me, I told him my kids will have adult meals since I'm the one paying for them. So they ordered their meals and my sister-in-law was PO'd. She said that I embarrassed her and made her kids question her because she told them they were getting the same thing all the other kids were eating. So am I the a-hole? No. Sister should not assume what your kids are eating. And not all kids want chicken tenders. My kids would eat usually the most expensive thing. Some restaurants have steak tips for kids. Some restaurants have barbecue for kids. If it had corn on cob on it, that's the meal they were getting. And a 9-year-old, some 9-year-olds are big enough to eat the adult meal anyway, because they're only for kids 10 and under. And that's if you have a normal sized 10-year-old. My grandkids are not going to be eating kids' meals that long because they're giant boys. My best friend's kid didn't eat kids' meals that long because he was a giant boy. He could read when he was 3 and people thought he was like 6, which is not good when people think your kids are older than they are because they expect them to act in certain ways and they're not equipped for that yet. Shy Girl Wanting says, NTA, why would she select your children's meals anyway? Maybe they wanted a burger or pizza. That's bizarre. I agree. It is really weird. Working Interview said, I would not want to have a family lunch out with a 4-year-old crying because she wanted a hamburger. And Squirrel Stone said, especially not a hungry 4-year-old, because that's just makes everything that much worse and will keep that 4-year-old on a hairpin trigger even if you can calm them down. Oh, and also, some of the kids' meals are very limited, and not all kids like those things. So they should be able to eat what they want. You can always take leftovers home if you want to. It's not you paying for it. It's not your decision. Angelo Papa says, sister-in-law are probably bratty kids who will whine if somebody else has something different from them, regardless of whether they like it or not. Tilly Alex says, I don't know how old her kids, but my sister-in-law is extremely controlling. She pulls stunts like this with kid food, like what's acceptable for children to be eating. We went to an Indian restaurant and let our kids pick out their favorite spicy curry meals, vindaloo and spicy paneer curry. She was livid we didn't order plain chicken and naan like her kids. She did this at effing McDonald's once when I let my 9-year-old get a quarter pounder. That's it, no fries or drink. She wouldn't shut up about how my kid would get fat. Yeah, this lady has issues. You can't control what other people's kids do. So stop doing it. You can not like it. Maybe even gossip about it here. But you can't control it. This is from I Don't Work Here Lady. And this was the original for today because it did not get deleted for once. The woman at the grocery store thought my fiance was a worker and that he was leading. I gotta start over. This is from I Don't Work Here Lady. Woman at the grocery store thought my fiance was a worker and that he was leading me around because I was a customer. LOL. I'm blind. It is amazing what happens when you're leading a blind person around. My fiance and I were at the grocery store yesterday. I'm completely blind, so he guides me when we go out. A woman walks up and starts to ask him something, and then he stops short and say, "Oh, I'm sorry. I can wait till you're done with her." He and I both were super caught off guard, so he was like, "Excuse me? What do you mean done with her?" The woman starts laughing and nervously says, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I thought she was a customer and you were helping her." At least she realized her error, apologized, and laughed about it. All three of us burst out laughing. It was hilarious, and I could tell the lady was extremely embarrassed. Definitely one of the funniest things that's ever happened to me while grocery shopping. And it's kind of ridiculous that I even have to add this, but since some people seem skeptical, here's a little clarification. Being blind doesn't mean I can't live a fairly normal life. Yeah, no kidding. Technology today is incredible. I typed this on my iPhone using voice to text and voiceover, which is a built in screen recorder that reads everything on the screen out loud. Every iPhone has it, and you can turn it on in settings. Before accusing somebody of faking their disability, maybe do a bit of research. Here's a video if you're still in doubt. And has a link to a YouTube video. This is not directed toward the people who ask nicely. Curiosity is perfectly fine, and I don't mind answering questions at all. But for the people who come at me sideways, shame on you. Seriously, learn some common decency. Yes, you would be amazed at what blind people can do. I lived with blind people when I was in college. Um, they're just normal people, just like you. They just happen to have a disability that sometimes interferes with their life. And people wonder why drive-through ATMs have Braille on them. I know why drive-through ATMs have Braille on them because blind people sit in the passenger or in the back seat on the driver's side and use the drive-through ATM, and they have since the 80s. Okay, it's not that serious, people. Holy cow, that's crazy. But that is funny. I mean, this is a great story. I might have done that same thing, but I would have apologized and laughed about it because that's what you do when you make a silly mistake like that. It's silly. I can't believe people didn't believe her. I believed her. I believed her right off because I know that voice to text is a thing now. And thank goodness I don't have to read entire books on tape for people anymore because I've done that. Birds. For some reason she couldn't get it, so I did it for her. The next read is from Overheard. It's entitled OH at a Bakery. What do you want, Mom? I went to Cobb's last week, and an interaction I overheard is still bothering me. Middle-aged daughter to her very elderly mother at the counter. What do you want, Mom? Mom points to a pull-apart cheesy loaf. Daughter, no, pick something else, Mom. Mom points to pull-apart cheesy loaf. I want one of those. Can I have it? Daughter, because it's too big, it will go stale. Mother, no, I'll eat it all. Daughter, no, Mom, just pick something else. What does it matter if she doesn't eat it all? Mom, it's my money. Daughter, I don't care. I said no, pick something else. Holy cow, this girl. Mom, fine, one of those, points to an abolitious thing. Daughter, getting frustrated. No, Mom, I said small, that's too big. Mom, quietly, I'll eat it all. Daughter, pick out a croissant or a scone, Mom. Mom, I don't want either of those. Daughter, you're getting croissant. Daughter proceeds to order one plain croissant and hands it to her daughter. Daughter, they're happy. Mom, no. This daughter, looking back, I wish I had bought the cheesy pull-apart loaf and ran out to the parking lot to give it to the mom. I'd give anything to have my mom back, and I would spoil the living daylights out of her with my time and attention. She didn't want for nothing, so this controlling, unhappy daughter really got under my skin. Why even ask if she wanted if you knew you weren't going to give it to her? Live and let live. Edited to add, I got this got out of hand, but I dig it. A lot of folks are assuming dementia. A lot of folks are assuming I've never experienced being a caregiver, and a lot of more folks seem to resent their ill parents. It's the mom's money, and she wants cheesy loaf. Who cares if she eats it all? Who cares? Why is it that important? I do not understand people. Zafu2 says, I think that if you have had a good relationship with your mom and your mom is mentally healthy, then you read this post and then this post sounds like the daughter is being awful to her mother. You draw that very reasonable conclusion. For people who have less healthy relationship with their mom or a mom has mental challenges, this post can hit differently. How? I don't have a good relationship with my mom and I would never do that to my mom if I did have a good relationship with her. I think many times when I cared for my mom, taking her to get a haircut, taking her to the doctor, etc., a casual observer thought that I might really be intending her harm. I remember being in an elevator with her mom and telling me loudly and with genuine fear, I don't know who you are. Keep your hands off me. That's a completely different situation than this. That as I studied her in the elevator on the way to her doctor appointment, she had at that point no idea who I was. Her memory was all but gone. The other people in the elevator were confused and concerned. I remember saying, like, I'm her daughter, just taking her to the doctor's appointment. I think OP has a unique perspective that OP heard in the tone of the comments. That's something we can't tell from reading this post. It's easy to see how different perspectives came from this post. Yes, but this is different. This is different. She said she wanted it. She said it was her money. She's aware enough to know who's paying for it. If she wants it, she should get it, and nobody should care if she eats it all or not. So what if it goes to waste? Get her what she wants. She's old. She's gonna die soon. Jeez. I hope my kids take better care of me than that. Alzheimer's is such a I'm sorry for your loss. Alzheimer's is such an evil disease. Yes, it is. It is. My my former boss took care of her mother for years. Her mother had a head injury. Thought she was 16. Didn't know that was her kid, her grown daughter. Didn't recognize herself in the mirror. It's very hard to take care of people like that. But I know that my ex-boss would have bought her the stupid cheesy loaf that she asked for because she's a very kind person. This is from True Off My Chest. My dad secretly paid off my student loans, but I found out how he did it and I don't know how to feel. 2 months ago, I got a letter saying my entire $68,000 student loan balance was paid off. I thought it was a scam at first, but after calling the servicer, they confirmed that a family member made a full payment. I immediately knew it was my dad. He's always been supportive, though not the emotional type. I called him crying and thanking him. He just brushed it off and said, Don't worry about it. Just focus on your life. It wasn't until last week that my mom told me how I did it. He sold the Harley he's been restoring since before I was born. The one he used to tell me would be his retirement ride. He sold it quietly to some collector in another state and used every penny to clear my debt. He's 61, works maintenance at a plant. His knees are shot. That bike was one indulgence he never allowed himself. It was the one indulgence he ever allowed himself. I don't even know if I should thank him again or apologize. I feel both incredibly loved and incredibly guilty. He traded his dream for my freedom, and I don't know how to carry that. I just needed to tell someone because I can't stop thinking about it. What a good dad you have. You have such a good dad. Dad always says you give that man a hug and love him as much as you can. That's what you do. No mechanic says I second this, and when you start making money, help him out when you can. Healthy families support each other. Yeah, when you go out to dinner, you pay for every meal. Every meal. Oh, what a good dad. He didn't have to do that, OP. He loves you. This is his way of showing you that he loves you. Next, we have in-laws. My mother-in-law insists on being in the delivery room, and my husband doesn't see the problem. I see the problem. You have a husband problem. I'm 29 female. I'm 34 weeks pregnant with our first baby. My mother-in-law, 57 female, has been way too involved in the process for my comfort. She's been texting daily, asking for updates, wanting to come to every appointment, and recently told me She can't wait to be there holding my hand during labor. It's not your daughter. It's not your daughter. She has a mother, most likely, probably. I mean, I love my mother-in-law to death, and she would never insert herself into my delivery room. I was caught off guard and said something like, "Oh, we haven't really talked about who'll be in the room yet." She laughed it off and said, "Of course I'll be. Me and my husband. Who else?" Your husband? No. I don't want my father-in-law seeing my hoo-ah. No. I've been told my husband, 31 male, that I only want him there, and he said I was overreacting and that his mom just wants to be supportive. Honestly, sometimes husbands are not enough. My husband is not enough. We did it the first time with just him, second time with my sister, and the third time with my best friend because I love him. He was great. He is not the caregiver I need for that. Supportive, yes, but not the caregiver. I love that she cares, but I feel like my boundaries are being bulldozed. This is such a vulnerable moment for me, and I don't really want an audience, even if it's family. I don't blame you. I've tried explaining that I want privacy during delivery, but my husband keeps saying it's not a big deal and that I should just let her have this. It's making me feel like my comfort doesn't matter. How can I make him understand this is a boundary, not a preference? And how do I handle my mother-in-law without creating a big family drama before the baby arrives? Well, I have news for you. This is going to cause a great big family drama. You can't do anything about that. You have to live through this drama. Your husband, you need to enlist someone to talk to your husband. A friend, a family member, somebody he relates to, somebody that's been through this, somebody that knows how this is going to go. The thing is, in labor, any more stress than is already on you is just going to cause complications because your mental attitude towards labor can cause physical reactions. Your mother-in-law should not be there. She should not be there at all. She can come after the birth and take a peek at the baby and go home. Somebody answered that, husband, if you tell me it's not a big deal one more time, I've told you no, you won't be allowed in the room either. Okie lady says, ask him if your mom can go to his colonoscopy. That's right. Oh, childhood is not a spectator sport. Exactly. Why do people want to be there? I mean, if my daughter wants me there, I will. I don't expect, if my daughter-in-law wanted me to be there, I would. But I don't expect that. And my daughter-in-law, my oldest daughter-in-law's had two babies. I wasn't there. One of them was during COVID when literally we're not even allowed in the hospital at any time. My son was barely allowed in the hospital. We waited till they got home to see the little baby. Ah, he's so cute, and he's 4 now, and he's super cute. He's so cute. This is from What Do I Do? Best friend is going non-contact out of the blue. I'm gonna read the caption first. Actually, no, I'm not. I don't know what I'm doing. How's that? Oh my goodness, I didn't even think today. I'm in a relationship that means everything to me, and I'm fully committed to it, and I need you to appreciate and respect that. Not contact me or stop and have a conversation with me out of respect for me and my relationship. And they answered, did I do something wrong? This is weird. This sounds like a controlling boyfriend or girlfriend. Hey, I really need some insight here. My 32 female, very close friend of about 12 years, 33 male, sent me and another gal in our friend group this message and then deleted off of social media. Oops. There we go. The thing is, he called me to tell me all about how he was connecting with this girl and they were starting to date. And we were all super stoked for him, especially since he hasn't been in a relationship in a while and has been looking forward to settling down. I remember saying how cool it was that we could double date and we came into town for the holidays. But now he sent this identical message cutting ties. This man danced at my wedding. We've watched countless TV shows and movies together. We've even shared our fears and dance and dreams with each other. To imagine he's just gone and willingly from our lives is devastating. We can tell him anything and he would never judge us, and vice versa. I'm just confused and heartbroken. For your information, I moved 3,000 miles away 3 years ago, so I can't go knock on his door and ask him to give me an explanation. Also, it's not written in his voice. It seems like his girlfriend who formulated the message. Yeah, that sounds girlfriend, bad girlfriend, bad girlfriend, red flags for the girlfriend. The new girlfriend needs to go. She's isolating him, and that's abusive. Sassy says, I have a feeling it's the girlfriend. And the OP says, I don't understand why. I'm literally married. My husband is friends with him. We've never even met this girl. Edit. And from her photos, she's gorgeous. That's heartbreaking. I'm so sorry, OP. That's not fair. She hasn't even met you. She hasn't even met you. You're married. Your husband's friends with him. Is he cutting off husband too? Like, what's with this girlfriend? She sounds very insecure. Why is it that some of the most beautiful people are so insecure? I don't get it. Our next read is from Entitled Parents. My mom tried to open a credit card in my name for my own good. Fraud. So this happened a couple months ago. I still really don't know how I feel about it. I'm 23 and just starting to get a handle on my finances. I've been using a debit card, paying rent bills, and all that since I moved out on my own. My credit history is short. I've been trying to build the right way by using the Fizz debit card that reports to credit bureaus. Anyway, one day I got an email from a credit card company saying my application was received. The next thing I never applied for anything. I thought it was a scam at first when they called me, confirmed it was my info, my name, even my social security address. Still not something that you asked for, and they should close it down because I've had that happen. After freaking out for over an hour, I called my mom and she immediately said, oh, yeah, it was me. I thought I'd help you build credit faster, like without telling me. She also said she used my info to apply for a card she'd managed until I got more established. No. I told her that's not how this works. It's literally illegal to open accounts in someone else's name, even if it's your kid. She got super defensive, said I was being ungrateful and that I should be thankful she was trying to help me out. No. We argued for a bit and she ended up hanging up on me. She told my aunt later that I blew up at her for trying to be a good mom. No. She blew up at you for overstepping your boundaries and doing something illegal. I spent the next week cleaning up the mess, freezing my credit, calling the bank, making sure nothing else was open. Thankfully, I caught it early, so it didn't stick. Oh, that's good. That's good. But honestly, it just made me realize how much my mom still sees me as a kid she can manage, not as an adult with my own life. I love her, but man, that crossed the line. Yeah, that crossed a huge line. OP, good for you for taking care of it like you did. Um, your mom, be careful of her. She's overstepping now. She's going to keep doing that. For Zero Forever says this is the textbook definition of credit card fraud. She should be terrified you'll report her. Not angry, you don't want her help. Actually, she's going to be lucky if the credit card company doesn't come after her. Because now that you've reported it, they know it was fraud. Cardabella says she is, that's why she's issuing a DARVO, emotional manipulation and intimidation taxes. Yes. Strange Ace said, I would be talking a lot about pressing charges for fraud if she ever tried that trap again. I would do it this time. Because that's what it is. It is fraud. Bye-bye job. Paramedic. I'm not going to show this. Oh, no, I'm not showing this. Paramedic loses job after kicking suicidal patient in the head. Source and body of post. Video attached. This is from Daily News Hungary. Shocking video. Shocking video shows paramedic kicking restrained patient in the head in Hungary. The paramedic kicked the patient in the head with full force, and he did. I saw it. It was not pretty. 5:17 on a train. Man was lying handcuffed on a stretcher, probably because he was suicidal, not because they were arresting him. And he just hauled off and kicked him in the head. That paramedic should be not only fired, but he should be in jail for assault. That he could have killed him. Like he could have killed him. Following the incident, they terminated the paramedic's employment with immediate effect and filed a criminal complaint. And now a criminal investigation has been launched. Other paramedics reportedly did not see the assault, and they may not have. Why would you do that? According to reports, the man's marriage had recently broken down after 2 decades, and in his despair, he may have gone to the railway station intending to end everything. Witnesses said it was difficult to restrain him, which is why he had to be handcuffed, because he didn't want to be here anymore. That poor guy. Add insult to injury, or injury to insult in this case. Wow. I guess hungry people are not any better than everybody else. Okay. This is from Oh No Consequences, entitled My Ex-Wife Predicted My Future in Painful Details and I Can't Sleep at Night Because of It. And it's Flared Cheater. And it's originally from True Off My Chest. My ex-wife predicted my future in painful details and I can't sleep at night because of it. And we may have already read this. We are legally still married. We are both 45 and together for 20 years. She was the love of my life until I met my current girlfriend, and then I realized that I had been stagnating for years. My new girlfriend, 30, was happy and exciting. She was wild and drove me crazy. I finally remembered how it was to feel alive with her, and she understood me. Never complained, never nagged, always positive. When my ex-wife found out, she laughed in my face and told me how disappointing I was, leaving your wife of 20 for a 20-something. How original. I mean, I don't blame her. I told her it wasn't her age, and she laughed even harder. Let me guess, because she cares about her looks, because she's so positive and adventurous. Then she said that when reality hits, don't come running back. Then she stops blowing you in the most wild places because she knows that she doesn't have to now. When she realizes that she wants more and asks for more, when your answer and actions aren't good for her. When she stays in bed scrolling on her phone all weekend because she has you, she doesn't need to pretend to be oh so adventurous anymore. Remember that you haven't traded up. I don't believe her. She laughed at that too. She said, remember how our story started, the love and respect we had, and looked at how it ended. Do you think this one started by hurting people is the closest you will end? Closest. How do you think this one that started by hurting the people closest to you will end? She's not wrong. It was 9 months ago, and now I haven't spoken with my girlfriend for 2 days. You poor guy. I'm so sorry. She moved in with me 3 months ago, and I've never been this miserable. The fights, the nagging, the scrolling on her phone all day and night with zero effort or energy for any adventure. Oh my God. The demands and small fights about small things. I know moving in together can be emotional and unstable, but I feel like I have no feelings for this woman. I have nothing to say to her. I don't even like her. I just keep thinking of my wife and how she knew all of this. I pretended that everything is great when I am with people. I act like I am so in love, but I'm dying inside. She predicted everything, and I miss her and love her and think about her every single day. And because I'm not a good person, I told my girlfriend this. I don't know why I felt the need to tell my girlfriend this. Maybe because she called my ex old and bitter. I told her that I will never love her like I do my ex. That took her down to earth real quick. I'm sick of myself. Dude. Dude, come on. What are we doing? Oh. Fragrant Arrivals top comment says, what a load of wah wah wah, woe is me horse crap. And the OP not the OOP, the OP says, I know, like, dude, you brought this on yourself. The fact that the wife predicted this to his face is just perfect for him. His comments are even worse. Even with therapy, is still all whoa, whoa, it's me, and claims he has PTSD-like symptoms. Little gad. Oh, I have nothing but the best consequences for you, Dad. Oh my goodness. This guy. Put him in Am I the Devil? Some people just can't learn from other people's mistakes. Don't do this, people. Learn from other people's mistakes before you do this. Holy cow. I accidentally this is mildly infuriating. Oh wait. This is from Mildly Infuriating entitled Accidentally Ordered Food to My Dad's House. And there's a picture with a bunch of food. And that's all it says. Eyeball Thief says, honestly, that's so wholesome and funny, I wouldn't even be mad. Just make sure to tell your family you love them, guys. Oh, poor guy. Yeah, but now you're hungry too. I'd be angry about it for a while. Um, Uniquely Indistinct says, my son ordered food to my house once. I felt so guilty, I immediately ordered food to his. Aw, that's so sweet. You're a good parent. It's a guy. I think it's a dad. It has a mustache and the little, what do you call it? Profile pic. Oh, that was good. We needed that after the last one. The last few, actually. Now we have Best of Redditor updates. New update 2.5 years later. My son's friend's parents want to adopt him. This was originally posted April 10th, 2023. All names have been changed to protect everyone involved. I always like to say all names have been changed to protect the guilty. Usually that's who you're protecting is the guilty party. I, 24 female, I'm a single mom to my son, Owen, 8. It's been just us since day one. His father isn't in the picture and has been able to avoid child support for years now. Yes, I've tried everything. My own parents disowned me. I had to drop out of high school and have worked a myriad of jobs since then to keep us afloat. We aren't on the poverty line by any means, but we definitely live paycheck to paycheck in a one-room bedroom apartment. Did I say one-room bedroom? Because I can't read today. One-bedroom apartment. It is not ideal, and I hope within the next couple of years we'll be someplace bigger. For now, it's our situation. Oh my goodness, I'm starting completely over. Okay. Best of Redditor updates. New update 2.5 years later. My son's friend's parents want to adopt him. Original post April 10th, 2023. All names have been changed to protect everyone involved, which means all names have been changed to protect the guilty. I, 24 female, I'm a single mom to my son, Owen, 8. It has been just us since day one. His father isn't in the picture and has been able to avoid child support for years now. Yes, I've tried everything. I don't really believe that because there are ways. She needs a lawyer, but she probably can't afford one, unfortunately. My own parents disowned me. I had to drop out of high school and I've worked a myriad of jobs since then to keep us afloat. We aren't on the poverty line by any means, but we definitely live paycheck to paycheck in a one-bedroom apartment. It's not ideal, and I hope within the next couple of years we'll be in someplace bigger. For now, it's our situation. I've raised Owen to know that money isn't everything. We may not have a lot. He won't always have the newest this or that, but we have each other. The two of us are very close, and he never has to gone without the basics, but I admit he doesn't get a lot of fun extras. I try to save a little here and there to make birthdays and holidays fun, but it's never anything glamorous. And I think Owen was fine with that until recently, anyway. In our area, all the public schools are based on a lottery system. So your child has a fair shot of getting into any of them so long as you put in your name. Our neighborhood school is not great and in a pretty crappy area, so I decided to put him in a different one across town. It's near my job, so it works out. Last year when he was in second grade, he met Charlie. They began hanging out a lot after school, with Owen going over to his place. I met Charlie's parents, Nate and Paige, and a couple of times before this began. They seemed very nice and supportive. Owen always had a great time at their house. Charlie occasionally came to our apartment, but usually they were at his place, which makes sense. I work and there's really not much for them to do here, even when I'm off. Summer breaks are easy to find care as there are several free or low cost camps that I can put Owen in. It's the shorter breaks, such as Christmas and spring, that are harder. Camp space is limited. Spring break of 2022, I managed to just miss registration. Paige is a stay at home mom and offered to take Owen for the week. I was hesitant to ask so much of her, but she insisted. He had a really fun time with them. They did tons of activities, and Paige refused my attempts to pay her back, at least some. I couldn't afford all. I admit I did feel a tad uncomfortable with her spending this much time with my son, but at the same time, I didn't want to deprive Owen of this stuff. It's an awful shame that her parents cut her off like that because they could be helping her. Summer came, and while I did get Owen into camp, he spent a lot of time with Charlie as well. He ended up going on vacation with them. I was again very hesitant, but the experience was something that I could never give Owen, and it wasn't too far away. He had a blast. Of course he did. I kept telling Nate and Paige that there's no way I could ever pay them back, and they kept insisting that they loved having Owen around. They told me what a great kid he is, sweet and respectful. At one point, I really pressed Paige as to why she was so insistent on having Owen around so much, and that's when she told me they never planned for Charlie to be an only child, but all attempts at giving him a sibling just didn't happen. They know that Owen will never make up for not having a brother, but if they can give him a consistent playmate so he's not lonely, they'll do it. Should this have been a red flag? Not necessarily. I mean, people do have lifelong childhood friends. It's fine. Should this have been a red flag? Maybe. But at the same time, I found it sweet that the boys considered each other brothers, and I thought it was innocent. Surely Paige and Nate knew the truth, right? Right? This continued for a bit. Come Christmas break of 2022, Paige and Nate insisted that I had not even bothered to try and get Owen into a camp. They'd take care of him for me. I was grateful. They ended up getting him more Christmas gifts than I did. I tried to set my pride aside because that was about Owen, not me. This is still when things were finally got started seeming off to me. I understood a gift on his birthday while they didn't get as many gifts as they got Charlie. It was a lot more than what you would typically get your friend's kid. Fast forward now. Spring break was last week, and this time Paige and Nate didn't just offer to take care of him during the day while I worked. They asked if Owen could spend the entire week at their house. Honestly, it meant I could pick up some more shifts and save some more for the bike Owen wants for his birthday, so I said yes. I went to pick him up on Saturday afternoon. The kids were playing out back, so Nate and Paige asked to talk to me. They sat me down and they said they love Owen. He's always such a joy to have. I thanked them profusely for all they'd done. Paige suggested that Owen stay a little longer. I pointed out that Easter was Sunday, plus school started on Monday. They said they could take him to school. I felt weird and said no. It was time for Owen to come home. That's when Nate suggested that Owen stay with them long term. I could still see him, but they would take care of him, and I thought they were joking. I said, like what, you'd be his guardians or something? Yeah, that's weird. That's not cool. They got quiet and the reality rushed over me. I pointed out that this wasn't a movie. They can't just get custody. They started spouting some legal stuff about how I could assign them as guardians and they would help make this transition smooth. They told me to think about Owen and what's best for him. I told them that there was no way in hell I was going to give up my son. I grabbed Owen and we left. I blocked their numbers. Owen has no clue what's going on. Poor Owen. And Charlie. Poor Charlie. I'm trying to keep him home tomorrow and took the day off work to figure out some stuff out. Legally, they can't take him, but now I know that they want, and I'm terrified. I don't want him going back to that school. Do we move? I'm so lost. I feel stupid looking back at all the warning signs that were there. I know Owen is going to be devastated losing Charlie, Paige, and Nate, but how am I ever going to explain it to him? In response to some now removed accusations of neglect, I can take care of my kid. He's never gone hungry. The lights are always on. He has clothes, albeit sometimes from Goodwill or donations. My husband worked. I was a stay-at-home mom. My kids had donated clothes all the time. It's cheaper. At least it used to be, and I don't thought so much. We lived in our car briefly when I was 17, but I pulled us out of that situation and will never be in that place again. I have health insurance. He goes to the doctor. He has his vaccines. He doesn't have an iPad or summer vacations. What he does have is love. His favorite stuffed giraffe that I got him when I was pregnant. A love for the park. He isn't deprived. He has a good life. I love him and I'm never giving him up. Maybe those parents have been turned down by foster adoption agency. I've suspected this too. It seems they don't want another child. They want Charlie to have a permanent buddy playmate. And I don't know how much about the system, but if they're as honest with me, I could see them being turned down. Update comments later that day. Post won't let me update directly, so here it is in the comments. Update. There's no way I can respond to everyone, so I just want to say thank you for the advice. While I understand those saying they potentially meant well and weren't trying to be offensive, it's still a risk I can't take. It's not like they offered to take him every so often. They wanted him full-time permanently. To those who said I should just let them, please pass me whatever drugs you're on. I will never give up my son. Do we have the newest this or that? No. We have our needs met. I love my son and not letting him go. Good for you, OP. For everyone else, I took your advice and reached out to the school. I told them that Paige and Nate are no longer allowed to pick up Owen and explained that I do not feel safe with them around each other. They understood there's not much they can do outside making sure they never pick him up. It's too late in the year to move classes, but next year Charlie and Owen won't be in the same class. I notified the police, but again, they can't do much. We have zero in writing and a simple request to have my child isn't breaking any laws. Unfortunately, all I can do is hope that they don't try anything. This poor OP. I haven't spoken to Owen. I think it's fine if he talks to Charlie and plays with him at school. But I have to find a way to explain why they can't have any play dates or sleepovers, as well as to never go anywhere near Nate and Paige. I guess that will come in time. I'll update again if anything happens. I'm hoping this is the end, as some of Nate's and Paige's defenders said they did take my note well. So hopefully they realize how totally out of bounds they were to leave us alone. I think that she just needs to be honest with Owen and say, listen, they want to take you away from me. And I love you, and I'm not going to let that happen. You can be friends with Charlie, but you can't go over there anymore. Update 2 comments, but it only shows up on OOP's profile. April 11th, 2023, the next day. Monday night, I talked to Owen and explained that Nate and Paige were not safe. He was confused, and I explained that they wanted to take him away from me. I think that spooked him as he started crying, saying that he didn't want to leave me, and he didn't want to see them again. I held him and assured him that wasn't going anywhere. He understands he is never to go anywhere with them and that his school is taking measures to protect him. I said he could still talk and play with Charlie. He said he doesn't want to. I was honestly worried that he'd hate me, but you were all right. Telling him the full story made him realize how serious this was. He understands all the gifts and trips will stop and that he is all right with that. Also, I wanted to address one last thing. I've gotten a few people offering me money or gifts. Please don't do that. I'm very appreciative, but that was not the purpose of this post. If you do wish to do something, donate to your local shelter or other charity. Owen and I are not in need. I'd rather see it go to people who need it. Good for you, OP. You sound like good people. I didn't see Nate or Paige at drop-off, nor have gotten any contact, but then again, I blocked them everywhere. Thank you for your help. I'll update if anything else happens. Hopefully it won't. Next update, April 14th, 2023, 4 days later. I've tried to post this update on True Off My Chest, but it keeps getting auto-deleted. So since I have so many followers, I figured I'd update here and hope it gets around. Well, what everybody feared would happen did. Tuesday, he returned to school. I told him he could still talk and play with Charlie. I was hesitant to drop him off, but figured you can't live in fear. Most afternoons, my son takes the bus to a local rec center for aftercare. I already told the school everything and that Nate and Paige were not to pick Owen up. I managed to call and even make sure he got on the bus. Aftercare was also made aware of the change in pickup list. Well, after half an hour, I get a call that Paige has tried to pick up my son. The front desk refused to release him. Didn't say why, just that she was no longer on the list. She wouldn't leave, and the police were called, and she was escorted out of the building. Man, these people are tenacious. They are tenacious. They could kidnap him. Well, she wasn't brought to jail. There was a police report, and I'm using this to go to court and get an order of protection. Paige and Nate are also banned from the rec center, so if they do show up, they will get arrested for trespassing. The police are working on ways to protect us, and the local social services office has been made us aware of the situation. So should they try to make a claim, they are aware of the situation. Relevant comment. Thank you for the update I'm pulling for you. Great job on getting your ducks in a row at school and aftercare. They're starting to show their true colors. Please keep a careful eye out and be prepared. Talk to your son some more and make sure he understands a little better not to leave with them. Thank you. I spoke to him on Monday evening, so he knew that he was walking into Tuesday. It freaked him out a lot, and he said absolutely didn't want to leave me. So he's aware and knows never to go with them. New update um, posted September 28, 2025, 2.5 years later. Title, An Update on Our Lives 2 years later. I hadn't realized it had been fully 2.5 years since I gave an update on our lives, but I thought this whole saga recently. Found the account and realized 3,000 of you follow this now. Plus, it seems like I get a lot of requests for an update. After this happened, I wanted to stay in the area we lived in. If anything, because I couldn't afford to move us, I ended up transferring Owen to a different after school program. He still remained friends with Charlie at school. Apparently, even Charlie would call his friends weird and say he was angry with them about for making it so Owen couldn't go over there after school. The rest of the year passed by awkwardly, but initially the school did a good job of making sure Nate and Paige were not anywhere near my son. I was told they wouldn't be allowed to volunteer anymore, as Paige often did prior to everything. Summer soon came. Owen started his usual camps, and I thought all was well. I had initially been told that the boys would not be put in the same class the following year. It had been too late to too late in the year. Yeah, if it was Easter, after Easter, it was too late to move the boys to different classes. But when I brought Owen to school the first day, I saw Charlie's name on the door. It's a small school that have a unique last name, so I knew it wasn't a coincidence. I spoke with the principal and was told it was impossible to keep them in separate classes. There were factors I just couldn't possibly understand. Regretfully, I didn't fight as hard because I assumed Paige and Nate were still banned from volunteering. It was like a horror movie receiving a letter from the room's moms of the class, typical letter I receive every year talking about fundraising, volunteer opportunities, when they raise money for teacher gifts, etc. Paige's name was right at the bottom. I once again spoke to the principal and was told they could keep Paige away from the school. She donated a lot of money and was great with the kids. They said since we had no incidents in 5 months at that point, we had to let it go. This just seems like a recipe for disaster. I tried to. I thought maybe things had changed, but it brought me so much anxiety every time I thought about that woman near my son. The school was refusing to protect them. What if what if things hadn't changed? I debated switching schools, but this was the best in our area and I couldn't afford private. I prepared my son. He said he wouldn't try to go with her and would scream if she tried to take him. If she has an order of protection against them, she can't be in the classroom with her son. Doesn't matter if she's in the school or not. Sure enough, first class party of the year, my son said Paige was there, and Owen said she kept trying to talk to them. She kept asking him to come over and even wanted my new phone number. I changed it for obvious reasons after everything went down. Thankfully, Owen knew better. Good for Owen. Smart kid. But I just saw the rest of the year flashing before my eyes. Paige finding out ways to be around my son, potentially breaking him down. Since the school didn't give a crap, I had nightmares of letting him kidnap her. I had nightmares of them letting her kidnap him. I knew we couldn't stay long, but again, I was broke working a crap job and I couldn't just pack up and leave. So I started applying to some new jobs outside our city. As it was, I had one job working in retail, but I picked up housing cleaning shifts, occasionally some babysitting shifts in between. I took a chance and applied for a live-in nanny position in a city about 3 hours away. I didn't think I'd have a shot at it, especially as I had a kid. But when I met with the parents and they were so kind and sweet, they were more than happy to let me bring Owen with them and let us live with them. They had an in-law suite I could live in as long as I was working there, but it was only one bedroom, but Owen and I were used to that. He was a little sad leaving his friends, but we jumped at the opportunity. I admit I was nervous to put ourselves in a similar situation as before. What if these people enticed my son and wanted to take him? But thankfully, they weren't like that. They were kind to Owen, but they maintained boundaries, and I eventually told them our story, and they were horrified that this ever happened to us, and assured me that they would never take my son. I was making better money living with them, and since I didn't have rent or utilities to worry about, I was able to save up more than usual. Owen thrived in his new school. The best part was he got to spend time with me and the little ones I took care of. No more crazy hours, no more after school programs. After 8 years, we finally caught a break. Family recently outgrew their need for a nanny, but they were happy to help me find a new job. This position isn't live in, but I was able to save up a down payment on a condo. Something I never thought would happen. For the first time in 10 years, Owen has his own room. Something both excited him and was also a little scared. With the help of my old bosses who are now good friends of ours, we were able to decorate, and my new bosses are so kind and again, totally fine with me bringing their baby with me to pick up Owen and having him around. I haven't heard from Nate and Paige since April of 2023. My son occasionally mentions Charlie, and I know he misses his buddy, but he also is relieved about where we are. I hope for Charlie's sake that his parents have calmed down. Maybe they've learned a lesson, if anything, so they won't prey on another woman in my situation. I bet you they do. We'll probably see their names pop up in the newspapers. Wouldn't surprise me. I don't speak to anyone from our old city, no friends there, so I have no way of knowing. Sorry if that's not a fun update. Oh, it's a great update. But that's where we are. Happy, healthy, doing well. I'm 26 now. Many days I feel like I'm 42. I'm in a new relationship now, dating seriously for the first time since Owen was born. I have a group of friends who are also nannies. It took me 8.5 years to gain support system. Still haven't spoken to my parents. Owen's father will never be a part of the picture, but we finally have a family. Still, he often tells me that if all of it went away like Nate and Paige did, he'd be happy with just us. God, he knows how to make his mama cry. Anyway, thank you all for the support and concern. Much love to you all. One of OOP's comments. Oh, wow, just so happy for me. Erg, this is horrible how money talks. You must have been unbelievably anxious for that whole school year. Wishing you both the best. OOP. Thankfully, I only had to deal with it for a total of about 4 months, last 2 months of the year, and then the first 2 months of the next year before I got a new job. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm glad that worked out. I'm so glad that worked out. But where do these parents get off? Not saying I haven't fantasized about kidnapping a few kids myself, but I would never do it. Oh, Granda Joe says, we all get how much you can get away with when you're rich, but holy crap, to see this plainly stated to OOP. That, yeah, okay, yeah, she tried to kidnap your kid, but she's so rich, what can we do? It's simply infuriating. Thank God she got out and all worked out in the end. Even Dark says, she hasn't tried to kidnap your kid for a whole 5 months now. Can't you just get over it? I still think she should have had a protection order. If she had a protection order, Paige couldn't have been in the classroom even if she wanted to be. All right, and last we have Made Me Smile because we do need a break from that story, even though it had a good ending in the end. It said, What a Dad. It's entitled, What a Dad. So I invited my dad to a wedding dress event where all the dresses were $150. The event starts at 7 a.m., but lines came form at 4 a.m. My dad just called me and said he bought a chair and is the first person outside the building already waiting. It's 2:55 a.m. Aw, that's so sweet. What a good dad. AJ Tyler says, as a dad, lording over the family with tales of how many hours you've already been up, priceless, and I'm jealous. Oh, for school bro, only to take a nap halfway through the day. He's not taking a nap. He's checking his eyelids for holes. That's what my dad always used to say. He's checking his eyelids for holes. Yeah, despite the snoring, Dad. Mm-hmm. Oh, that was cute. All right. Well, I guess I will see you tomorrow morning. Have a good day, my little biddies. Remember, Nike is the head biddy. Um, Take care and have a good day. Bye.